want you to imagine in 2025 that you have the corporate role of your dreams, whether it's a grad role, an internship, or even a degree apprenticeship. I did it with no internships, I did it with no experience, and I did it in just 13 applications, and I made 93.5% fewer applications than the average candidate. And the thing is, I did it with some pretty unexpected skills. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I do, or what I did do to break it, completely step by step, as if I was starting from scratch, as if I woke up as a student. Firstly, we need to start off with the skills. If you're in a field like I was, which was biomedical sciences in university, and you're on a completely different track, you may feel like you're missing some of the corporate skills that these employers want. You may even be thinking, how can I shift from the degree I'm doing into a corporate career, the same way I did, how I went from biomedical sciences into tech consulting. And that's totally normal, because when I was studying biomedical sciences, I was actually considering dentistry, but I ultimately realized that I didn't want to follow that path. And I didn't just decide to pivot randomly one day. I looked at exactly what I could bring to the table from my experiences to make the strongest application possible. I'm going to tell you what it was like for me at the time, but while I'm telling you this, I want to think of the unique experiences that you can bring to the table. During university, I was running an online coaching business, and I was also making content on social media. I've been making content for around 3 years now. That meant I was already comfortable with things like digital marketing, content creation, leadership, talking to a camera, time management, customer services, and most importantly, confidence. All of these skills I had were highly transferable and highly valuable. I can guarantee no matter what you're doing right now, whether it's reading, horse riding, playing golf, on your university rugby team, there are transferable skills that you can use to secure that role. So take a stock inventory of what you're doing basically right now. And even if it seems so unrelated to you, I want you to ask yourself, how can this be useful in a corporate setting? It could be time management, it could be analytical skills. Just think of the value it can bring to your corporate application. Now we're going to move on to the showcase experiences. Now, Abiha, what does this mean? I'm going to be very real with you for a second. I did not have any corporate connections. I did not have an internship. I had no experience in tech consulting at all. So as you can expect, when I was applying to these roles, at first, just for the first 1 or 2 applications, I was thinking, oh wait, maybe I won't be able to secure a role because I don't have the transferable skills. I wanted to apply for things like software engineering, digital marketing, and tech consulting. And there was a part of me at times that felt like I was being held back because I thought that I didn't have the skills like all the other candidates would. And I felt like this would put me in a bit of a lack position. But what I had that stood me out from every single other candidate was the mindset I had, in particular for growth. I leveraged my experience with online coaching and content creation. These taught me how to communicate effectively, how to work under pressure, and honestly just to hustle. The key here is whatever experience you have, like the ones I listed before, playing on your rugby team, doing your dissertation, a time you mentored a student, could have been giving online tuition to students. You need to frame your experiences to show the value that you are bringing. So for example, let's say you're creating content I did. That's communication skills. You're mentoring students, giving tuition, or even mentoring. That's leadership. I want you to think about what you're doing right now and how this aligns with what corporate employers want. Even if it's not a traditional internship, it's absolutely fine. These first 2 things are super important. Identify the unique skills and the value that you bring to the table and use them as your strengths. Showcase the experiences that you've had with these, because these experiences, even if you haven't had an internship just like me, it doesn't matter, because you're showcasing to them these examples that you can apply these experiences and skills you've learned from these experiences to the role that you're applying for. And especially as a graduate, when you're applying for graduate schemes or internships, they know that you're not going to have these experiences. So they're not expecting you to know it all. They just want someone who has a growth mindset, is willing to learn, is willing to adapt, and bring the most value that they can, that they already have, that they're going to demonstrate to the employer. Now, the next part of this application, obviously, is the whole CV. And yes, while your CV and resume do need to be tailored, that is not exactly what got me through corporate job with 93.5% fewer applications, okay? I did the prep right to score higher. Now, what does this mean? Look, a make or break part in most of these applications is the numerical test, the verbal test, and the situational judgment tests, okay? These assess your basic mathematics, your ability to work under a time pressure, your values, your ethics, your morals. All of these combined holistically, including how fast you can read and extract information from data, okay? These are not built to catch you out. They are built to see how analytic you are and how you can extract valuable information from all the extra noise they've given you, okay? That is all it is. These are not hard questions. All you have to do is look for the basic information and extract that. These tests are like the gatekeepers, and you need to realize if you don't prepare for these, you are not going to get anywhere, okay? What was it for me that made me stand out? And look, guys, there's no secret trick here, okay? There is absolutely no secret trick. In the UK, when you're applying to do a dentistry or medicine course, you have to do something called the UK CAT. And the UK CAT is like an aptitude test, and this includes numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, and situational judgment, also abstract reasoning, but that doesn't really count for this. So these three. I took the UK CAT 3 times, which means I have been preparing for the UK CAT for 3 years. I am extremely familiar with the type of questions that come up. I can do basic arithmetic quite quickly under time conditions. I can read through data very quickly and sift out all the important information, all the useless information. Situational judgment, I know exactly what to do. Situational judgment, you need to align the company's values to the answers. So let's say one of the company's values is trust and integrity, and they give you a situation where you have to demonstrate trust and integrity. Obviously, you need to align your answer with this, okay? While demonstrating this is who you are as a person. There is no secret key. You need to practice these tests. You can have many resources online. Just literally Google numerical reasoning tests online, job simulations online, okay? You need to practice under timed conditions again and again and again, because the key here is that you need to extract all the useful information. The key here is that you're going to practice so many times, you'll be able to pick up the certain amount of patterns quickly. The more you do it, the more you realize it's just a patterns game. Questions all present specific patterns which have specific answers. The more you practice, the more you do time tests, the more easily you'll be able to see these. Set yourself a goal. Let's say you have 30 minutes to answer 20 questions. Calculate how much time you should be spending per question, whether it's 1.5 minutes, whether it's 1 minute. Calculate the time, and if this doesn't work, move on. What you need to realize at the end of the day is that these tests are more about speed and accuracy, okay, rather than complex math or even language skills. Okay, target the higher yield areas. Get really efficient with your approach. So what do I mean by this? Let's say that there are 20 questions. Around 15 of those questions, they'll be basic, and the 5 questions will be really challenging. What I am saying with this is that don't spend all your time on the 5 hard questions trying to work them out, because the more you try and figure them out, you're going to be losing time for the rest of those 15 questions. So would you rather spend 1.5 minutes each on each of those 15 easy questions to get them all right, or waste all your time on the 5 difficult ones? You need to realize that these questions are equally weighted. So would you rather get 15 out of 20 or 5 out of 20? That is what I'm trying to say. If the question is hard, you need to realize you need to make an educated guess and move on. If a question is hard, make an educated guess. Most of the times you can probably take out 2 out of the 4 answers, because they just are completely incorrect. And that leaves you with a 50-50 chance to make an educated guess on one of the questions. That is the right way to do it. So prepare strategically for this. The only tip is to prepare as much as you can. Look, you need to realize the reason that you are not confident and you're getting so nervous when it comes to these tests is because you're not prepared. If you prepared enough, you'd have more confidence. And when you have more confidence, you can perform better under time conditions. That means you can complete this with speed and accuracy, which is exactly what they want, okay? So prep right, score higher. The next point is the confidence that hits. And what do I mean by this? You need to realize that 93% of all communication is nonverbal. Let me repeat that again. 93% of all communication is nonverbal. So the way you move, the way you give your eye contact, the way you're sitting, all of this matters. Look, I'm using hand gestures right now. It shows I'm not afraid to take up space. I'm confident. I'm open speaking to the camera. Interviews are the place where most people stumble and basically fumble, but they don't have to be intimidating. I've been on both sides of the interviews now, and what I've learned, again, preparation is key. During my own journey, what I practiced with specific frameworks, help me structure my responses, highlight my skills, and tackle unexpected questions with confidence. You need to realize here, they are not looking for you to list out all your qualifications and all your skills. That is the wrong way to answer interview questions. They want you to tell your story. They want to hear how you would react to certain scenarios based on your prior experiences. You need to guide them through the story. Let's use Disney films as an example. Disney films, they usually present you with the hero, and then the hero has a problem, and then the hero faces a villain, and then he overcomes the villain and he gets the result. That's the exact same strategy you need to follow. You need to talk about a situation, talk about yourself, then talk about what you had to do and a challenge you faced. Then you need to progress to what did you do to overcome the difficulty or the situation, and this will lead to the result. Okay, so you need to structure like this, and this is actually known as a little secret technique called the STAR method. It's called situation, task, action, and result. STAR. So first you talk about the situation when you're answering these questions. Let's say they ask you a question on, tell me about a time that you had to deal with a difficult person. So instead of saying, oh yeah, I dealt with a difficult person and it was so hard, I'm not really good with dealing with difficult people and I did X, Y, Z. No, you need to have a storytelling framework that shows them your thought process, because this is so key, okay? So let's answer. Situation. So how would you go about the situation? So firstly, you describe a time you were actually dealing with a difficult person. Where were you? Basically just set the scene. So let's start. Situation. During my time at university, I was in a group project where we had to put together a presentation, okay? Something simple. Next is task. What was your individual task? So what were you responsible for? As part of this, I was responsible for collating the information and putting it into bullet points on the slides, okay? That's the task. What happened? Like, you need to talk about, relate it back to the question. When was the time you dealt with a difficult person? But when I was doing this, one of my team members told me he didn't like the way I was formatting the bullet points. Anything, okay? It can be anything, just as long as you're showing them your process and your thought process, okay? Then you need to lead to action. What did you do? Because of this, I sat down with my teammate and we came and we discussed what the best course of action was to take. We weighed the pros and cons of which bullet points looked better, and ultimately we decided to go ahead with his because it looked better. That's the result. Action and result. They want to know how you dealt with a difficult person and what you did to remediate the task and what result it led to, okay? That is literally a very quick example. I'm not saying that's the best example, but I'm giving you an example that they want to know your thought process behind the scenes. They want to know what led you to that decision. What result did it lead to, okay? You need to describe the situation, the task, the action, and the result. This is the direct framework you need. This is what helped me secure a corporate role in less than 13 applications. This is how you can project confidence through storytelling. This interview framework, obviously it helped me structure my responses. These are for behavioral-based questions. There's two types of questions. First is behavioral, which is you'd answer using the STAR method. And the purpose of these questions, like I said, is to see how you would react in different situations or scenarios, particularly in the workplace. And the second type of questions are your motivation-based questions. And these usually ask, why do you want to work here? Why this role? Questions like this. And with these, you really want to go through each one of these step by step. There's around 13 main ones, okay? I will also break this down in another video, how to answer these 13 videos, how to answer these 13 exact questions, and you want to write your answer and prepare individually for each one. The thing I'm trying to get at here is you need confidence, and the only way to have confidence is to do your interview prep properly. And how do you do that? Look at the most common interview questions, prepare your answers for them. Have 3 to 5 set examples you can use that you can bring up no matter what question is thrown at you. Have 3 to 5 examples in your mind for the behavioural questions. For example, a time you led a team, a uni dissertation, or something that demonstrates a skill. And then you can link these back to the question when it's required, depending on what the interviewers asked you, okay? So this is the way. This is the only way. You need to make sure that you have confidence that hits. And the only way to get confidence that hits through the interviews is to prepare. The game changer you need to realize is that obviously post-COVID, most of the first round of interviews have been pushed to video. So what would I recommend? I'm not saying grab a camera and become a content creator, but I am saying maybe open up TikTok, open up your camera and just prop it in front of you the same way I have and pretend you're speaking to the camera. They give you roughly 1 to 2 minutes to prepare your answer to these video interviews. Put the camera in front of you. Give yourself 1 to 2 minutes to prepare an answer to a question, hit record and see what you look like. I want you to analyze yourself. Are you using body language? Are you speaking with a monotonal voice? Are you speaking with tone? You need to use tone because different tone, the way I'm doing right now, like I'm speaking enthusiastically, you can tell I'm not feeling bored by what I'm talking about, okay? And you need to realize this. Look, I know it sounds weird, but when you record yourself, you can actually catch your mannerisms and you can fix them when it comes to the actual interview. You might realize that you have a nervous habit of fidgeting that you don't even realize, or like maybe scratching your head. And you need to cut these out before the interview, because guess what? 93% of all communication is non-verbal, and this will not help you, okay? The interviewer or the assessor will pick up on it like this. Lastly, something that's severely underrated. I'm not saying you need to go out and become an influencer, okay? But building a brand really helps with the impressions that you make, especially when recruiters search you up online. Look, let's be real, we're Gen Z. Recruiters are in a digital era, and they will look up your digital footprint. They'll see whether you're active on LinkedIn, most importantly LinkedIn, potentially even TikTok and Instagram. Even though I had a coaching business, and this is what I was initially building my brand for online, okay, my mindset brand, corporate internships or corporate graduate roles or degree apprenticeships are no different. You're building a personal brand that recruiters will see, okay? Don't just share things like, oh, I'm so happy to announce now that I got promoted to the vice president of my society. Don't say things like that. Showcase who you are as a person. Share valuable insights. Connect with people in the industry. Position yourself as a thought leader who give away valuable insights, because this not only shows leadership, it shows that you think outside the box and you're not like every other candidate. It takes confidence to make these posts online, because you're probably thinking, oh no, like what if people judge me, people from school? Who cares? I mean, those people aren't going to be there to help you get your job, right? So why does it matter what they think? But if you need some inspiration, go on my LinkedIn, have a look. What I'm trying to say is you need to have a bit of a social presence, okay? I'm not saying post 3 times a week. I'm not saying post every single day, even once a month. Just once a month, post something valuable you've learned. Reshare some content that you like and add to it. Or even just post about something that's emerging, like a new insight. And this is so crucial, because, and like I said, they'll see you as a thought leader. So if I wanted a corporate job, a corporate internship, a graduate scheme, or a degree apprenticeship, these are the 5 skills and the 5 steps of where exactly I would start, okay? Leverage your unique skills, frame your experience, ace the tests, nail the interview, and build a brand that stands out and positions you as a thought leader, and not like every other candidate. Because look, it takes guts to post on social media, and if you show you have the guts, obviously the recruiter is going to be impressed. These strategies work for me, and if these were helpful and you want more videos like this on how to secure a corporate role, especially if you're a student or a graduate, make sure you hit subscribe, because I'll be sharing stuff like this at least once a week. Head over to my Instagram where I'll be making daily posts. You can check out my LinkedIn as well if you need some inspiration. But for now, keep these steps in mind, and I'll see you in the next video.